Do you know what a manatee is? The animal.
A manatee, yes, the big fat seal thing.
Yeah, they're called sea cows. Yeah, they kind of just float around. Cute things.
Yeah.
This boss fight is just a floating blue manatee, like that, like a spiritual manatee that just floats around and shoots you from the air.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's the weirdest.
I don't think I understand. I don't think I get what you mean. A manatee?
Yes, a big floating seal floats around, hits the ground, and shoots you with its, I don't know, magic powers. I know, I'm making it sound crappier than it actually is. Like, I'm just picturing a manatee with a wand and like a wizard's hat on top of him or something.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick. You well?
Yes, I am well. I have a question for you, though.
Go on. How
familiar are you with FromSoftware titles?
That's kind of a broad question by all accounts. Do I know that they've made some of the greatest games in the last, how long, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years? When did Dark Souls come out?
15 years.
No.
Yes, Dark Souls 1 came out in 2011.
That was the original one for like the PlayStation 3 or something, right?
The original one I think was Demon Souls.
Oh yeah, I'm getting confused with Demon Souls, that's right. Which is also from Soft, right?
Yeah. Have you played any of their games?
I've played Dark Souls 3. I played a little of Dark Souls 1. I played a good few hours of Elden Ring. And Sekiro for about 5 minutes.
Oh, you've played Sekiro?
For 5 minutes, yeah. That means I've played it, right? That means I'm an elite. I'm with everybody else.
Correct. You're an elite gamer. Congratulations.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah, I'm one of these people, these very rare people, where the game didn't click with me. The world, yes. The Dark Souls world, the whole universe, the whole lore and stuff like that. I love that stuff. But the game, it's a good game. It deserves all its praise. It just didn't click with me, by all accounts. And I tried so hard to make them click.
Most of these worlds kind of click with people, and the gameplay fights them against clicking.
No, exactly.
But it's so big, cool, and interesting, these worlds that FromSoftware makes. You can't help but keep playing, even if it's difficult as shit.
Yeah, and again, by all accounts, I haven't played them, but I have watched people do playthroughs because I do need to know. I need to know what's happening at the end. I need to know why this happens, or who the hell the dung eater is, and all that stuff. So I have watched hours upon hours of people playing. I just haven't really done much myself.
Okay, but that's not the case for this week's game.
No, this week's game, of course, I'm sure everybody listening even knows where we're going with this, right? It's the most popular online game at this very moment, I'd say.
You think it's the most I think it's very popular. I don't know if it's the most popular.
Well, sadly, I heard
it's up there.
That some Roblox game has just surpassed like the most popular online game at the moment, which is it's about growing vegetables or something, and it's a passive game where you just leave it and it grows vegetables, and that gives you in-game coins, I think. I don't really know, but supposedly that just surpassed like every online game that exists, which is crazy to me. Yeah,
don't say that. That sounds dumb.
Yeah, sadly that's the case. But yeah, okay. Like I said, I'm sure everybody knows what we're talking about now, right? It's Elden Ring Nightreign, which is cool, right? Cool name.
It is cool. It even makes sense in game.
Yep. Is it nighttime?
In game Nightreign, not only is it raining as the night comes closer, but the Nightlords reign supreme, or at least that's what they're vying for. The name makes complete sense.
Okay, no, I got you. I mean, I get the reign as in royalty and stuff like that. I just didn't know it was. Yeah, I guess they're the Nightlords or stuff like that, right? Are they called Nightlords? Yes.
The Nightlords,
so, yes. I get the whole premise. So yeah, everyone has heard this game. Everybody knows it released just a few weeks ago. Weeks ago? Has it been a week?
It's a week
and a half. A single week. And yeah, it's made from FromSoftware, which is Armored Core, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Sekiro, some other really old things I can't remember the name of. And
Kingsfield.
So, that's true. Also, did you know they sold 2 million units on the first 24 hours?
On the very first day. How impressive is that? 2 million units sold.
By all accounts, Elden Ring has sold 30 million units in its entire lifespan. So that's a healthy incredible number.
It's just somehow FromSoftware has made a new IP, Elden Ring. It's not new anymore, but this is just the second entry in the Elden Ring franchise,
right?
and it's already selling gangbusters.
Yeah, it is. Again, it's what it's. Everybody needs to play some Dark Souls. Everybody loves the world. I'm not surprised. 2 million. I'm intrigued. I look forward to see what numbers they keep going because, of course, this is a roguelite and online, so they've had to update and put things into it. Right.
I saw a post earlier today. They've hit 3.5.
Oh, really?
Yes, they've already hit 3.5 million.
That is a lot of people.
Yes.
In my mind, I'm thinking why it took so. I was in my mind, if it's 3.5 million people, why did it take so long to queue up sometimes? But that's for later. Like, where's all the 3.5 million where I'm playing? Like, why is no one else joining
Come on, I just need one bloke. How is this so difficult?
Anyway, out of curiosity, did you look at the trailer with the Evanescence Bring Me to Life over the top of it? It's so good.
There's a trailer with Evanescence.
Oh yeah. They play. It's a clip trailer of just falling, being defeated, and getting up again and stuff like that.
Was it created? Was it published by Bandai Namco?
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
it's published by.
I'm great. Definitely watching that trailer after we finish this recording.
I know it's one of those things that song has to be a good few years old now, but it just matches so well.
No,
it's great.
No, that song is timeless.
It is such a great combo. It just makes you smile watching it. And it does give you hype for the game, I must admit. That song plus the little trailer it gives you, you're very hyped up to play it after that.
I can't... It's only been a week, or hardly even, since this game's been released, and it already feels like it's so deeply ingrained in gaming culture. Speaking of, I can't believe... Well, we've obviously done our research on Elden Ring Nightreign. I cannot believe the amount some people have put into this game already.
Oh, we got some crazy 200-300 more hour people out there.
No, but I mean, that's fine over the course of a couple of months. In 1 week, I cannot believe some people's commitment to no-knifing this.
It's not just their commitment, their free time. Are they opening new spaces in time to play video games or something?
Do they not have jobs? Kids? A life?
Well, we all know that it exists out there somewhere. You got to respect it to some degree. I'm waiting for the news articles of Let Me Solo Her. I'm hoping he's out there somewhere who's just taking on the Nightlords and just let. I hope he's out there doing that. I want to hear the good stories coming up on the internet about how
he's there.
And there are. I know there are people out there who played hours and then they just team up with some newbies and help them get through some of the boss fights too. So I do like the stories of camaraderie and stuff like that. Not that anyone helped me fundamentally when I was doing it, but
what? That's a lie. I helped you.
Could you call that help? It's close. It's close to help. It's companionship. It's like Sam and Frodo, right?
You're right.
But yeah, it is ingrained. You're right. It is ingrained in everyone's culture, and everyone's talking about it. Everyone's.
But how? It's been a week. It's incredible, right? Really.
Yeah, it's just the lore of FromSoft and Dark Souls and anything that's made by that company, right?
Yeah. They've
Who's
really
the guy again?
This
I always
status.
forget the Japanese guy. I always forget the Japanese
Hidetaka Miyazaki.
There we go, Miyazaki. That's what everybody was.
Miyazaki, but I think he did not direct this one.
Well, I'm not. Again, there's one thing that bugs me about this game. It's like 6 months in development or something like that, right? It wasn't a long development time.
What do you mean? This was made in what? 6 months?
Yeah, I read somewhere. Granted, the internet is full of misinformation and stuff like that. I did a bit. How long was from the release of Elden Ring to this game? How long was the time between it? Is it a year or so?
Oh wow, 2-3 years.
Yeah, but when did they announce Elden Ring was coming out? Nightreign, sorry, Elden Ring.
Oh, when did they announce Nightreign?
Yeah.
Jeez, it must have been the end of last year.
Was it really the end?
Earlier this year?
That's what I think. I might be getting my days mixed up and stuff like that. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
But the development time for this game always worries me when it's that small.
Was it that small though?
I don't know, 6. I've got maybe it's just me. If it's only I'm of the I want people to take 2 years or 3 years and really cook with a game and bring out something magnificent.
I see. Okay. How about this then?
Go on.
In between Elden Ring and Elden Ring Nightreign, we got Armored Core 6 and Shadow of the Erdtree.
That is very true.
DLC, which they did cook, I think, for 2 years or something.
Exactly that, which is what I like. But yeah, you're right. I can only imagine that studio must be on your CV when you get the gig to work at FromSoft. It must be really exciting. So I was just picturing all the people who get to develop these games that everyone loves, and it must be such a cool working environment. At least I hope so.
Although,
should we jump into narrative?
They've got a tiny bit of crunch.
Yeah, of course. No, of course.
Anyway, narrative.
Okay, this is again. It's very hard to do a narrative of a game like this.
It is. I was thinking the same thing. Even the regular Elden Ring would have been a bit difficult to talk about the narrative, even without spoiling anything. But this is on a whole new level.
Yeah. So the simple gist is that players take on the role of the Nightfarers, champions who must fight the shadowy Nightlords and an encroaching night's tide that threatens the land of Limveld. Right?
Yep.
Now,
that's right.
This is a prequel to Elden Ring, right?
How?
Because they say...
How?
That's right. It's Limgrave now, right?
Yes. In Elden Ring proper, it's Limgrave attached to the lands between.
Yeah, okay. And this is before it gets the suffix of grave. It's Limveld, which is quite funny because in Afrikaans, veld means... barren land or something, right? Like field and stuff like that.
Field's the word, and I think it's the same in German as well.
Yes, I think you're more likely right. So you're a prequel, and this happens before. What happens in Elden Ring fundamentally? The Elden Beast takes over or gains power? I actually really do not know the story.
Something like that. The Elden Beast lands in the lands between, creating the I've forgotten.
There's a big pretty tree.
Completely. I don't know.
So this is a prequel, and so you got to stop the Night's Tide by defeating the Night's Lord. So really kind of simple premise. You don't need much. You know that you're going to fight some big boss battles to save the day, right? That's all you really need in a game like this.
That's essentially it. The story is just it's just an excuse to go back to Limveld and fight some big baddies.
No, that's exactly it. And again, when you try to score the narrative, like none of these games have deep narratives. So do you just give them high scores, or do you compare it to Baldur's Gate and other games with such glorious, rich lore? I don't know.
You're right, but I mean, I wouldn't say it's not unfair to compare these games, but what they're shooting for are completely different things. Something like Clair Obscur and Baldur's Gate. A big part of their game design is telling an immaculate story.
Yes,
telling a story that is timeless, that is just worth telling. This is not about the story. This is 100% from the get-go about the gameplay and the roguelike elements for you to replay this game. Story, not really that important. Even the parts of the story that I think is worth doing, your reward is a gameplay mechanic.
Yeah. Again, I know, I agree with you entirely. This isn't really one for the narrative, but as a narrative man, I love narratives and the stories and that. But it's so hard for me to switch that part off of my brain.
Oh, so does it bug you that the story is kind of half-assed?
I do. It does a little bit. I even looked at the character descriptions. Right. You get playing this game. You play. Was it 6, 7, 7?
8 in total.
8 in total. You got Wilder. He's got a cool backstory. He was defied by death at every turn with his stunning sixth sense for combat. He swore to avenge the night in the name of his massacred tribe, right? So there's a bit of lore to him.
Yeah.
You've got the Guardian, like bird person, pinion,
Eagle man.
Former captain, injured in war, in which his country's fate hung in the balance.
Oh, wow. Jeez, did you write something down for every night?
I did. And then he's just Hawkeye. There wasn't really much lore.
He's your favorite, right?
He is. Again, not great at these games, so I thought the furthest distance away from the the boss fights and stuff, I thought I'd survive a little longer.
You're not wrong.
And then you got Duchess, who's I do like that she's a stepdaughter of a Viscount, and then for some reason because she moves swiftly, she got the name of Duchess. You got a pirate, a raider who's a pirate who sailed the lands between, and he just wants a good fight. You know, I like the Revenant. The Revenant was cool. The doll of the daughter of an aristocratic family that faced ruin.
The Revenant's
on a fateful night, her soul took possession of the doll's body and swore to avenge her disgraced lineage. Now that's Elden Ring level of like lore and character.
It is. That's
I want to know more about this. I want tons more about this.
Even the Revenant and the Duchess are both Bloodborne coded. They're very Bloodborne-esque.
Yes,
I'm not sure
exactly.
how much of Bloodborne you've played.
I've watched somebody play it all the way through, so I kind of know the story.
So you're familiar. The Duchess's outfit is very, very much inspired by Lady Maria of the Clock Tower.
Oh yes, I can see that.
And the Revenant, you're saying she's it's just a doll inhabited by a soul.
Yeah.
That's that's the doll from what's the place called? The Dream.
Oh,
the Hunter's
cool.
Dream.
Yeah, that's true. Ooh. See, now again, narratively, that's fun, right? You've connected two things. You know, the world is all connected into like one big map and system.
Yes, and even it's even got some Sekiro in this game with, I'm assuming, is going to be your next Nightfarer.
The Recluse was next, but I'm guessing you're thinking the Executor, right?
Oh, I shot that I missed. Yes, I'm talking about the Executor.
And he's with a body fused with the pieces of armor. Well, missing he went missing after a prison stint in the Lands Between. Did the Lands Between have a prison that you know of, out of curiosity?
What?
The Executor escaped prison. I was just wondering if Elden Ring, if there was any prison landscape or building that you get to go into. Of course, but I thought
this came before Elden Ring.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying the prison could have still been standing in Elden Ring. Like, you could have seen the collapse or the land just...
Well, yeah, there are prisons, catacombs, dungeons, jail cells, ever jails. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, I get the jail. I'm just wondering, and again, the lore to the characters are really cool. And you can do some remembrance missions, kind of side quest things to kind of flesh them out a little bit.
Yes, I wrote this down as well. The remembrances, I would say, is only the real part of the narrative that would, how do I say it? It's not interest people, but could be something the closest to a story.
Yes, agreed.
That you could get in a game like this. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I again, with these narratives and these descriptions, I want to know more, especially the ones over the others. Like,
Same. They make characters who are so cool. Yeah. Even the character designs that we can get into in visuals are so excellent, so fantastic. You want to know more. You want to play with these characters more and more and more and more. And not every game can do this. I'm thinking of... Oh, what was that? Concord. Do You want to play more with those characters or these characters?
No, exactly. Well, I do love that somebody, that Concord stuff is like getting really expensive because people want a bit of memorabilia of like the most unsuccessful game ever.
No.
So there are like plaques that were in the office and like things like that going for sale on eBay and stuff, and for large amounts of money.
No.
Really, people want a bit of the pure failure. They want a piece. They want a piece of history. I know it's weird, but it exists.
Okay, so damn, it really has turned into this mythical thing. The mega failure of gaming's biggest flop, Concord.
Because, yeah, it really has achieved brand new heights that people just want a piece of, so they can look at it and say, wow, they achieved something never done before in gaming. But anyway, we digress. Like I said, and it's hard to do the narrative now. The narrative I've scored this game as playing it for this right now. Because in theory, the narrative will develop as new things come along and story things come along and characters come in and maybe they'll overlap each other story-wise and stuff like that. So
do you think so?
I hope so. Again, I'm a narrative person. I hope there's a bit more.
That means this is a live service game.
I was debating that thing too, right?
Is this a live service or just multiplayer?
Well, are they going to release more Nightlords down the line?
Yes, they've already said as much.
Oh yes, there's like a DLC incoming and stuff like that.
Correct.
Right? But I don't know. How do they make their money on this? Because were there Mike? I didn't see it. Could you buy in-game stuff to boost yourself up?
No. So with the turn the industry's made the past, I don't know, decade or 5 years or so, people have started forgetting how games used to make money by just selling a game. And I think that's how they are making their money, by just charging $40. You buy the game, you have the game, they made their money, end of story.
But procedurally just generate some new content just to keep people playing because, they still want the numbers playing on the server.
That's what No Man's Sky's been doing.
No, it's true. No, it's, again, live service and a multiplayer game is kind of a weird combo. And I give you, we know that live service as in Suicide Squad and all those are all horrible and all the things come to play. I kind of hope it develops the story further, but I do get what you mean because it doesn't really have to. It's the gameplay and just beating things and being able to tell people you beat it or have friends or play with your friends to beat. It's the kind of whole sell, isn't it, of this game by all accounts.
Do you think you personally would like a narrative developed?
Just a bit.
Because you feel there isn't one and that bugs you?
Yeah, because again, it's the equivalent of Exposition 33 now releasing a game that's got like no narrative to it, or it's simple, or it's a gacha game or something like that, right? I'd hate that because
I get what you mean
narrative.
Now.
And Dark Souls has such good narrative shoes to fill, and then not to give much on that plate, so to speak. Yeah, that makes it a bit tough for me.
Can I for anyone listening now who don't agree with us, I would just like to clarify, narrative doesn't necessarily mean story. Narrative can mean anything between story, lore, world building. It can even be dialogue. Narrative is an all-encompassing word that we use for all of this. So yes, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, they've got an incredible narrative. This one, not so much.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's good. It's great. I like it, but I think it's very little.
Yeah, and again with this type of game, it's kind of normal. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, visuals. Right. What did you think?
Once again, FromSoftware proves you don't need the most groundbreaking graphics that takes 10 years to make to have a beautiful game. I'm salty because Naughty Dog has been sitting on their asses. Excuse me,
that was a strong R in that asses. God.
I mean, doesn't that upset you? These big, talented, incredible studios take 10 years to make a game, and in the same time span, FromSoftware has dropped 7.
That's true.
Because they don't try to make every single polygon a million times better. No, they focus on the important stuff, the art direction.
I got you.
Right?
The overall art direction, the encompassment
Exactly,
of the
exactly.
story, yeah.
Just for those of you who've not played it but seen the game, go look at what the third day looks like. Right? If you want to see what the peak art direction for Elden Ring Nightreign is, and what I mean when I say that the art direction is some of the best, go look at the third day. Right? It shines. It truly shines in the visual department. The resting spot where you jelly into, the open corridor with the space whatever behind and above you, the boss arena itself. The Nightlords themselves, it all looks spectacular. And I'm not saying it's not the graphical fidelity isn't loads. It is, but what makes it look over and above what some other games are doing these days, it's because the art direction is incredible. And I know I'm saying the same thing in 10 different ways.
But the funny thing is, I know I'm going to throw a fork in your gears in a moment.
No, Dave!
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you the character design. Yeah.
Yes.
I love the
Yes.
slick-looking characters, the actual character design. Proper lot of energy and imagination.
I would get a beer with the Raider and Wilder. And maybe even the Recluse. Maybe definitely the Recluse.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like saying, why you? Yes, she's kind of hot. Like that's fine. She can drink. And I agree that some of the boss fights, the Nightlords, are cool.
Did you say
Gladius? The Cerberus dog, Gladius. That's cool as hell.
Yes,
big sandy land, big fight, 3-headed dog. Then maybe not a 300 dog. Don't want to lose all the spoilers. That's a cool big fight. But there are some other fights not so impressive. Did you okay, I didn't get there. I'll put my hands up. Not that great at the game, but I did watch someone fight something known as Maris, the Phantom of the Night. Right?
Okay.
It's a do you know what a manatee is? The animal?
A manatee, yes. The big fat seal thing.
Yeah, they're called sea cows. Yeah, they kind of just float around. Cute things.
Yeah.
This boss fight is just a floating blue manatee, like a spiritual manatee that just floats around and shoots you from the air.
What?
Yeah. It's the weirdest.
I don't think I understand. I don't think I get what you mean. A manatee?
Yes, a big floating seal floats around, hits the ground, and shoots you with its, I don't know, magic powers. I know, I'm making it sound crappier than it actually is. Like, I'm just picturing a manatee with a wand and like a wizard's hat on top of him or something. It's more Twilight and blue and stuff like that. But when you've got these big, badass Nightlords that you've been struggling to get to the final, echelon where you get to fight them, and it's not this big, badass looking, like, behemoth that's going to crush you all your first try. It's kind of like, whoa, what's going on? Like, this is nice, but in that entire fight, you're waiting for it to, like, evolve into a big fiery sphinx or something like that. But it doesn't.
It just looks like a big floating manatee the entire time.
I will give credit on the other side, though. The last fight, I'm going to get his name wrong. Heelstore, I think his name is, the Nightlord. Ooh,
I don't know.
That's a visual treat. That's an insane looking fight. I won't spoil it, but that is a great looking fight.
Okay, so if one out of the 8 Nightlords look a bit iffy.
Okay, let me throw this at you then, though. This is one thing that bugged me in this game visually. So much of it is just from Elden Ring.
That's it. I got that down here as well. I knew you were going to say that.
Yep.
Reused assets.
Yeah. I don't have it. Again, Elden Ring looks great. So the assets look great. You are taking on all the old bosses that you know and love, and all the special fights that you had to fight through when the original Elden Ring comes back, and mini fights and mini bosses and stuff like that. But it's very hard to grade visuals when it's nothing or very little. Also, not all of it is new. Like the Nightlords are new, the boss fights are new, the land has changed a bit, so that's a bit new. but every mini boss fight or every just mini creature you come across, you've seen it all before. It's all reused assets, so it's not.
Yes. So I am going to agree with you partly.
Go on. Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you partly, and for the other part that I'm not going to agree with, I'm going to disagree.
Whoa! I never saw that coming.
Yeah. Reused assets is definitely a thing here. This is definitely just a randomized Elden Ring that you play with your mates for 3 days. That is definitely the case. Although, I personally am okay with the reused assets. They don't bother me that much. But I know definitely that there are some people that are furious with the reused assets.
They're furious.
I get it in some cases.
They need to relax a little bit. But yeah.
They do. They need to go reevaluate what's important.
They do.
Anyway, what I'm saying, reused assets isn't so great. If this was a full-priced game, I would have a bigger problem with this, but it's not.
That's very true. This
is very, very... It says it on the tin, Elden Ring. Not Elden Ring 2 or whatever. But there are some reused assets, and I'm using that loosely, that they've taken from other properties they own.
Oh, yeah?
You know what I'm getting at?
Elaborate some more.
They are using assets from Dark Souls. They are using assets from that entire trilogy, and they've put some of those into this game.
Okay. I'm not sure if I saw... I understand, like you said, the Duchess looks like one of the people from Bloodborne. But did you see that out in the world? It's possible I wouldn't see it because I think we've established not much of a I do love Dark Souls. Don't play it much. Nick, on the other hand, loves them. He gets in deep. He goes on the internet. He looks into the research and what people say. He goes deep into the love of these things. So you more than likely saw more than I did visually in that regard.
Yes, I did. Just before we go on, I've got all 3 platinum trophies for the Dark Souls games.
Hey, flex. Ooh, yeah, look at me.
What?
Which I know is actually quite impressive because those games are hard to platinum by all accounts.
Hard as shit. What I'm trying to get at is they have taken bosses from the Dark Souls games and put them in here.
Oh, really? I thought they were all from Elden Ring.
This
are
game
are there Dark Souls bosses in there?
Yes, there are Dark Souls bosses in this game. I'm only going to name 2.
Go on.
They've got the Duke's Dear Freya. Ooh, such a spectacle.
Okay.
It's a giant iron spider with 2 heads.
Oh, please! I didn't need to know that exists, but okay. And then the other one.
I know. I'm so glad. That's a boss. That's one of the big bosses of Dark Souls 2, and they've put it in here. Another lesser boss from Dark Souls 2 that they've put in Elden Ring Nightreign is the Smelter Demon.
I guess he melts thing, right? To smelt.
Yes, and he's a demon.
He smelts.
What I'm trying to get at is these are demons from a different IP. Up until this game, Elden Ring and Dark Souls have not been tied in the slightest. There's not been any hint that these 2 IPs cross over. Now that has changed.
So that's canon now. Right?
It's canon now. It is canon now.
Oh, that's
and
cool. That is cool.
The fact that they've said they're going to be introducing more Nightlords down the road, people's imagination are running wild. They're speculating just everything because now the entire Dark Souls trilogy is on the table, and that's incredible.
That's very true. That's right. Again, now this out of curiosity, that's incredible. You've taken the bait. Now, is this a live service game? Because you are excited by what they're going to release further down the line. Now, maybe all in the DLC that's coming quite soon, or are they going to keep doing this and feeding little bit? I don't know. They're going to keep feeding you new Nightlords and new scenarios for you to overcome. Is that not defined as live service?
It is actually. It is.
I don't know. It's such a grey area. I know the thing is, everyone shits on anything called live service. It's just a bad game, right? Because it's greedy and stuff like that.
I think
but there is another side to that aspect.
Yes, I think it's just because the majority of live services games are done so badly because
agreed.
they want money.
Oh, 100%.
I don't think not all live services games are the problem, but most problematic games are live service.
Yeah, like by all accounts, oh god, this is my naivety. Fortnite live service.
Yes.
Exactly, and they don't. Are they considered corporately greedy and stuff? I know you can buy outfits and skins and emotes and stuff like that.
Well, yes.
Oh, are they? See, obviously.
I mean, it's definitely gotten a slight bit better because it's not like it's a bad game. Fortnite's kind of slowly getting a good reputation, slightly and slowly. What's taken its place though is Call of Duty. Damn.
Is that toxic? I know, we all know Call of Duty is toxic in one way, but even microtransactions and all that crap.
Yeah, the one live service game I think that's really taken the gold trophy for being the best there is with a good reputation is Helldivers 2.
That's true. They dropped off for a little bit. I'm told everyone's going back again now because there's a whole new war aspect that's come into play. And yeah, I agree. Do you know, out of just a weird side note, do you know they're selling their helmets now? Like real life Helldivers 2 helmets. They're expensive, but they look cool as hell. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
sadly,
yeah, I want one of those.
I know, but
Super Earth
South
and
Africa
democracy.
being shunned again, we don't get any access to them. It's all America and Europe, I think. So we don't get to have our nice Helldivers hats.
We've gotten way off track.
We have, sorry, ladies and gents. Okay, visuals. Again, it's a mixed bag. It's hard to not look past the fixed assets. But I do get what you mean. The drip feed of all these boss fights that are there, and you can discover maybe there's more there that we haven't bumped into, right?
And and my point was that it's taken, that it's reused assets is used very loosely because it's reusing assets from another IP, and that tiny fact is making a big bunch of people extremely excited.
Yeah, agreed. I can see that.
That was my only point.
Okay, anything else visuals?
Just that Limveld is a bit more bland than the lands between.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's on purpose though, to some degree, right? Because
I guess so. I don't know. It's supposed to be much smaller because otherwise you couldn't be able to track the entire thing in 45 minutes. Yeah. But it's just bland.
Yeah, it's true. I'm not gonna. Okay. Audio man. I've actually got very few audio notes because I don't listen that well, and I'm too busy trying to dodge things and not be bad with the other two players I don't know. So I must admit, I was like, yeah, it's like Elden Ring.
You know what?
The soundtrack is pretty cool. The boss fight soundtracks are great. Yeah, those are hard to miss.
As always. Yeah. As always. Today, while I was working, I put on the Nightreign soundtrack while I did my day job, and oh man, it's quite amazing the soundtracks that they make for these games, because they somehow make these soundtracks for every single one of their games. There's a specific soundtrack for every single big boss.
Yes,
every single big boss has their own soundtrack, which I think I'm just so used to older or more not lazier games where there's boss music that it's the same boss music for every single boss. I don't particularly have a problem with that, but it's just incredible to me how you can create a soundtrack and have a piece of music for every single boss that could potentially last you 5 minutes or 5 hours.
No, of course. I'm curious. This is again full orchestra, right? There's just something that hits different about a full orchestra.
Yeah. Not just even a full orchestra, but a full orchestra and a choir.
Right? And then boss music, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you have a full orchestra and a choir, which is very expensive, by the way. A lot of games can't have that budget by all accounts. You just know the boss fight's going to be insane just because there's just something so grand and so energy refueling, or whatever you want to call it, about just hearing a whole orchestra and choir just go in full tilt whilst you're trying to kill a Nightlord or a big boss.
It really is the case, and and FromSoft knows this. They know that, and I've been saying this since we started the podcast. Audio, voice acting, sound effects, music, all audio is what turns these games that we love into pieces of art.
Especially recently, like be it God
Yes.
of War, Baldur's Gate, the Dark Souls games, Stellar Blade. Their soundtracks, Expedition 33, have just been so good. And,
Yes.
and I know, I feel like maybe it's just being in your company a lot more. I do, not in this game because of all the fighting, but I do listen to the soundtrack a lot more now because it just adds so much more to
I'm
the
glad.
atmosphere
I'm so glad to hear that. Everyone should not necessarily sit down with the album like I do. Just open your ears while you're playing the game. Listen to the voice acting. Just take note of all these sound effects and this. What is the soundtrack supposed to make you feel? Because it's definitely supposed to make you feel something.
Yeah.
Don't turn off the audio and just listen to Ludwig or whatever. No, not a dig against anyone who listens to.
I'm about to say. But no, I get what you mean. Stop streaming something in the background, except for, of course, this podcast, and actually listen to the game sometimes, right? And actually be
that's
immersed.
that's what I'd recommend. But I mean, if that's how you relax, if that's how you enjoy yourselves,
true. That's very true.
Who am I to tell you what to do?
Exactly. Only the greatest podcast in gaming on the internet right now. That's who we are.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Anything else audio-wise?
Yes, jeez, I've just gotten
so
started.
Much. Go on, John.
FromSoft, for their titles, they generally have a main theme. It's not big or long or anything. I just enjoy that how they take this main theme and incorporate it into the soundtrack for the rest of the titles. Right, the main theme here, you could hear hints of this theme in the rest of the soundtrack.
Okay, so they've subtly put it into a lot of the other songs.
Yes, which very few other video game soundtracks do. A lot of people just think the video game soundtracks are just making music to fill some dead air. That's it. No, what the old composers used to do in things like their symphonies and their operas was they created themes at the start, and they would incorporate this theme to introduce the entire piece throughout the smaller little pieces in the entire work. In all three acts of an opera, in all three movements of a symphony or a concerto, the theme would come up again and again and again. And this is exactly what they did in Elden Ring Nightreign. You could hear the theme when you were fighting a boss, exploring Limveld. And it's incredible to me how we've gotten to the point where soundtracks for video games could even be considered symphonic works of art themselves.
Oh, definitely. Now, am I right when you're saying that the same theme goes throughout? Is that this? I think they do that in Lord of the Rings, right? You always hear, be it slowed down or sped up or quietly in the background, the main theme all the time.
What was his name? I did an entire assignment on the Lord of the Rings composer.
Yeah, you probably and now you've forgotten it. Say, welcome to being in your 30s. That's right. You're just gonna forget things. But I do get you mean. It's all threaded throughout the music, and you get to just every once in a while you'll hear that same chorus line or something like that, right? In regards to when you're playing.
Or in a different key hidden behind the chorus. Played throughout the harmonies, you could get something like that. And I think the main theme here conveys a sense of sadness at first, right? Almost mournful.
Yeah. Which is go on.
Yeah. I think.
But that's a theme in a lot of the Dark Souls and stuff as well, right?
Yes.
The initial premise is the world's broken and it's kind of sad and depressed, right?
Exactly. And your quest is to, try and fix.
Depends which quest line you do. So
very true. But even that, just the quest to fix this broken world is a sad one.
Yes,
even in this game, you could say that Limveld is destined to be overtaken by the Nightlords, but now the Nightfarers have jumped in and are trying to stop them. It's sadness at first, but evolves into this grand, epic almost piece as it progresses. Much like the plot, right? As tragedy has fallen onto Limveld, the heroes rise to defeat the Nightlords, as I said. The music conveys.
And then the end leaves you a big old question mark anyway. But I won't, like I said, I won't spoil that for a lot of people. But yeah, it is. It's always fun to listen to your perspective because, of course, I don't really hear it. I know good music or music I enjoy when I listen to it, but I don't particularly know the energy or what goes into it and how technically it's beautiful compared to just hearing, oh yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, I think most people feel like that when it comes to
definitely
video games, right? A lot of people kind of interact with the gameplay very intimately. They can everyone uses their eyes to see how good a game looks, but it's much less often that someone with a trained ear gets to listen and analyze to these pieces of art, right? That's why these videos on YouTube of music producers listen to Persona 5. Yeah, that's why they do so well, because they can actually analyze and tell you what's happening.
Yeah, and it's always weirdly reassuring when one of these experts say, "Oh, this soundtrack is great," and you go, "Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, it is. I knew it.
I'm smart. I thought that soundtrack was a banger too." No, I watch those two all the time because it's interesting. Anything else audio you want?
No, that's it. Let's move on to gameplay.
Okay, gameplay. The thing is, they patched a lot of the stuff I was going to complain about. So now,
really?
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, give me a couple anyway.
Okay, they patched drop rates. Drop rates in the game. I'm sure you played. Sometimes, I know it's all luck of the draw and it's all RNG, but sometimes the drop rates of things were just so abysmal throughout your entire run that you get the thing and you go, okay, I'll have 3% of light damage when I block, but I don't block, so I'll take... The drop rates were insane. It was like...
You're right.
Go on.
I know exactly what you mean. The first game I played after the patch... Yeah. I was playing the Executor, and I somehow on the second day got Rivers of Blood, one of the rarest katanas.
Holy crap! Yeah, I got nothing like that. I got the most legendary thing I got was one of those revive drops. You know, when you die, it will instantly revive you, like so you don't.
Whoa! I've not even gotten one of those.
I got no good weapons. I got like a purple bow, like once, and the rest was increase your damage, increase your health. Increase your TP stamina, things like that. So, but they supposedly they fixed a lot of it, and they're fixing more of it. And again, the single player was just so brutal. It was insanely difficult. To think that you only get the same 3 lives. Originally, they are patching out. You only got the same 3 lives, and you got the same souls acquisition that you did when you were partnered. So they didn't even initially. They have fixed this. They didn't even give you more souls so that you could try and level up a bit faster because you can take on less people in that time frame. So the balancing was well off, but I must admit the new patch has fixed a lot of that. They really did come out quick to fix a lot of the users' complaints, which again is really, it's impressive. Like it was really quick they fixed it.
Right? But it hasn't even been a week.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's less than a week since this game's been released, and they've already sent out a patch fixing some of the complaints, as you said. It's incredible.
Again, the one big thing, and I'm sure you wrote this down, is absolutely zero voice chat communication. We had one bit there where we were teamed up with someone who wanted to tell us that he had a stone sword key? Is that what they call them?
Yes.
For the jails, right? Mm-hmm. And I noticed we were going to another a pinned area, and he kept pinging the same spot to say, "No, I've got a key. Let's open the jail." But there was no other way he could communicate that in the slightest. Not an emote or a chat or a text or none of it.
I did the same.
He just had to keep spamming.
I've been in that spot, standing at the entrance of a mine shaft, jumping like an idiot.
Yep.
To come on, let's get to Somberstone, please.
Yeah, it's a weird thing not to add, because every online game in the last 8-10 years has some sort of communicative
voice chat
aspect.
Makes no sense.
It's a crazy thing not to add to it.
That is a massive oversight.
Yeah,
that's a big oversight. I think that they do need to add, as well as duos, which I'm sure is coming. It has to.
That also bugged me. What the
I know.
There's so many people I know, like myself with my brother and best friends, and of course there are a lot of people out there that aren't, haven't got the greatest confidence or friend circles and all this. But to limit it to 1 and then to 3 is just really bizarre to me. Why not 2?
It is weird.
It's
couldn't tell you.
Again, I've read, and it sounds like they're patching it all out. They are making it better. I do believe duos are on their way. It would be insane if it weren't.
Fantastic.
So it is super impressive that they're fixing it straight away. But I gotta rate the gameplay as we played it, and these things weren't there, so they did lose a few points. Other little things, I just thought how often you bumped into the same mini boss fight all the time. Like, the amount of times I bumped into, the the knights, or where was the godskin duos and stuff like that, right?
I get what you mean.
And ancient dragons pitch up a lot.
I know it's supposed to be one big field full of baddies, but you play in this field so often.
Yes. The same fundamentally the same field each time, just
you're right, fundamentally
access
the same
to different
field
routes,
each time.
Kinda. Yeah.
I don't know what else they would have done, because it's not like they could just put a different boss in another area. Some of them, sure. I think there are 4 or 5 different bosses that can swap out in those encampments. Others wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Here's a question to you, because again, not too many hours in Elden Ring. Were the locations in Limveld? Did you recognize them from Limgrave? Like, there's the volcano route you can go. Is there a volcano route in Limgrave? Were they the same features as the same world, or was the volcano new to the whole architecture of the Elden Ring universe or not?
Most of it is... how do I say this? It's the same assets, just kind of jumbled around. But no, there's no castles like the ones in Limveld in the lands between. There aren't any. The encampments aren't the same. It's the same assets, just kind of jumbled around.
See, that's what gets me. Like a new castle or something would have been cool, right? Like something just spectacular, something you'd not seen in the worlds, but it was a bright purple castle with gargoyles and dragons on it or something. Would have been a cool, something different. So players would go, "Whoa, what's that? Never been in there. Let's go get it. Let's go figure it out." Again, am I reading too much into it?
I think so. You know what? I think so because the one thing in this gameplay that I think you're missing, for your point would be the pace.
Oh yeah, well that's
right. If this was a slower paced game, then yes, I would love a big old castle to explore.
That's true.
But because of this game and the nature of this game, the pace is just so...
That's true.
So fast, so quick, it drives your anxiety through the ceiling.
Which I get. I get why some people like that as well. Did you like that side of things or not? Like that, like the pressure.
I prefer the slower. I prefer Elden Ring proper above the franticness of Nightreign.
Again, there's a good side. I can see that, like the resource management and where to run to and when to go to a site of grace and which weapons to keep and to. I get the frantic levels of strategy. You got to decide on the whim, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I get that energy when you're doing that and you're like a team of 3 particularly and you all go, let's go there. And it is very frantic, and I get it. You're right. You can't really discover a castle and look at each and every crevice like the way I'd want to.
You kind of just move through it like a
exactly.
like a headless chicken.
you run in this game. You just continuously run from one point to another because your course time is running out. And
you run, you pick up your reward, and you run again.
And then you run again.
Mid-run, you decide where to go.
I kind of liked the weird revival mechanic. The whole having to hit your other players. I thought that was added a layer of stress and just even like what they call it epic. What's your ultra move called? Like
your ult, right? Your ultimate.
And using that at the right time to either hurt the boss or to revive both your comrades who are connected.
Or both.
Or with a bow you could do both. That I thought was cool. Clever way of designing newer aspects of the gameplay. I thought that was kind of a lot of fun. Anything else gameplay-wise?
Yeah.
Go on.
I think there's a load of mechanics in this game that a lot of people find very, very fun. I do think, though, there is a slight contradiction in the gameplay mechanics that I found did not make a lot of sense.
Go on.
In the slower paced games, Elden Ring, Dark Souls, the one deciding factor, one game mechanic that keeps you from just annihilating everyone, but pacing yourself, is your stamina bar.
Yeah, of course.
You can't continuously attack because your character gets tired. You need to draw back, rest, give a couple of seconds, and then go in again.
That's right.
With the frantic pace of this game, the stamina bar makes very little sense.
It's the same stamina bar basically, right?
It moves quicker, like it refills quicker, but I find it contradictory. Why would I have this mechanic that makes me slower in the game that demands me to move faster
really quickly, right? And that's one of the things, like when you press the run button, so to speak, you lose a good chunk of your stamina bar, don't you? Just to switch on run in this regard.
And of course it makes sense when you think about it. But, I mean, this game's asking me to go fast. Why is it penalizing me for going fast?
Yeah, that's true. I get what you mean. I guess that's just a mechanic to try and make you feel more frantic, or maybe just.
But I mean, this is a mechanic that came from the slower games. This is now a faster game. We probably need a new mechanic to deliver for the faster pace.
Well, I'm guessing, again, a lot of this game, when it came out, it did feel a little early access-y, so to speak. Like, they released it probably a little too soon, and now they're going to patch it out. And again, this is not a fully priced game, like you said, so it's not, you can forgive it for doing that to some degree, right? I'm guessing if enough people have that same feeling about the stamina, they'll probably fix it. But I do get what you mean, especially when you were the big guy. The big piratey berserker fella. Yeah. His attacks take so much, obviously, because he's a strength build and all that. It takes so much stamina to get off that forgetting or getting that little wrong and then trying to run out the way is near on impossible. But I agree with the frantic nature. The stamina bar could do with probably a bit of an overhaul.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not saying get rid of it, because then people would just rip and tear throughout the Limveld.
Easy it really would. No doubt.
A rework maybe an overhaul. It's just slightly contradicting. That's
the relics. I get this is a roguelike, ladies and gentlemen. This is fundamentally you're going to lose quite often, and then when you lose, you can get some like passive buffs and stuff like that in regards to relics and special relics for the character you like more than other ones, and then you can put them on your build, and so next time you do the run you could be a little bit stronger or a little bit faster and stuff like that. So there is an aspect to this game that requires you to lose to eventually overcome, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of the drops you got was so, again, the drop thing was so useless for the characters you wanted.
Yeah, doesn't it feel a bit, I don't know, underwhelming?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right?
All they need to
all
do
of these jobs just +2 strength.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
There's very little. You just need something where you go, yeah, I got this, or yeah, I get access to that, or I can earn that. It just feels very
or completely upends your play style. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, that's because that's the beauty of some roguelikes. You would get an item or 2 items that you think, oh, wait a minute, but if I pivot my entire character build to I could become this. But that means I can't just shoot bows anymore. I need to jump on their heads or whatever.
Yeah. Hades is, of course, probably one of the better roguelike type things, which does exactly that in regards to your weapons that come available or which run you do when you access this. But then again, it's only their first week or so. I do feel like a lot of this is going to be fixed and balanced in the next month or so of this game being
I think
online.
so too. I would love if they just continually balance, continually update, and continually add, which I understand by definition makes this a live service game.
Yeah.
But I would like for them to do that.
It has to. If it's going to have any legs in regards to the online space, it's got to do these things, or it's going to just drop off.
You're right.
Like a lot of the others out there. Anything else gameplay?
The only note I wrote down here is this feels like a sushi all you can eat.
Okay, yeah, got you, yeah.
Because it's a mixture of Western and Eastern ideas that should not work, but somehow it does. No,
I agree entirely. It's a good... one thing I'll also say, for newcomers to the game, it's a bit rough. I was thinking when I was playing this. Now I've got a few hours in each. I know the button presses kinda, but if you were new to the game, if you were brand new to the Elden Ring, you'd not played any Dark Souls or anything, this game it's going to take you like 6 to 8 hours just to know what the hell you're doing. Like,
I guess so. Yeah, if you're not a pro gamer,
that's what I mean.
Then I would definitely not start with
I was just thinking that because again, I haven't played the games a long time, so the control scheme took me a while. I saw you jumped into the control scheme and you knew it instantly. I could see that, and I'm like, how do you do the ultimate attacks? It's triangle and then R2.
Oh yeah,
because I was pressing R2 and I was pressing R2 triangle all the time. It was driving me mental. But for newcomers, this game would be quite rough the first few hours.
Don't do that. Not only do you need to know what you're doing, but you need to do it fast.
Yes, exactly. And don't let your other teammates, even if they're strangers, you don't want strangers to think you're a bad gamer. So you feel like, damn it, why can't I do this? But maybe that's just me. Performance-wise.
Right. We need to move on to performance. Yes, you're right. Okay, this being an online game... Obviously, it means that if you have a poor connection, you're going to have a poor experience playing this game, which sucks. It's not the game's fault you have a poor connection. Sometimes it is. But if you have shitty internet, you're going to have a shitty experience.
Yep.
And single-player games don't do that.
It's true. And there's a lot of the time, if your internet does cut out and you jump back in, you lose a level as well.
Which is that what happens? I once got booted from a game because of my connection, and then I was very surprised that I got back in.
Oh wow! I know. Again, it's something they're fixing because it's a bit mean to lose progress just because everyone's internet connection spikes out. Like, it doesn't matter which country in the world you are, it will drop, it will dip, it will kick you out. Things like that happen all the time. The only performance thing I had, like you said, 3.5 million players, and when I was matchmaking. The 25 minutes went by and no one was there.
Whoa!
I don't know what that was. I know
20,
I'm not the only
25 minutes?
Yeah, I was just...
Was that a bug?
There's so much I can practice in the yard or where you can practice outside. I was just waiting for... I actually stopped, switched off the game and then restarted it on the PlayStation because I thought, what's going on? And then the same thing happened not too long afterwards. The matchmaking wasn't...
That's crazy. 25 minutes is insane. Did you when you restarted, did you get a match quick?
I did straight away. I must admit, restarted, went up.
So you were, I don't know, stuck in matchmaking limbo.
Maybe. And I know others have done it, especially so
it's a bug. It's a matchmaking bug.
The really good players were getting like onto the 6th Nightlord, and because not many people had gotten there yet, they were stuck for matchmaking, and nobody would be like, there would be no one to matchmake with.
Damn.
Which is it's a weird one to have to fix because I don't know how you fix that one. But hey, anyway, that was it for performance for me. Anything else?
Yes. I just want to comment on some performance
Go on.
aspects of this game. I think we played this on a PlayStation 5.
We did.
And more games are being optimized for consoles rather than PC because it's easier to optimize for consoles.
Yes, definitely.
You know exactly the hardware that you're getting, so you can just code for that.
Yeah, exactly.
So when it comes to these issues, I think we're getting them on the lighter end rather than on a PC that gets the bulk of the performance issues.
Yes, of course, always does. Yeah.
I was playing the PS5 version on the base PS5, and I've heard that if you play the PS4 version on the base PS5, the performance is way better.
That's quite commonly the case with some games, isn't it?
Yeah.
The PlayStation 4 build is so much more stable than the PlayStation 5 build. I don't particularly know what that is, but there's been a few, even, was it Cyberpunk? The PlayStation 4 version was a lot better, stability-wise and stuff like that, than the PlayStation 5 one.
Really?
Yeah.
I had the opposite. I thought the PS4 version was a piece of crap.
Or maybe I'm getting the wrong game. I just know I've heard that narrative for certain games, and it's just better played on the PlayStation 4.
I get what you mean.
I guess the hardware is just easier to code for or something. I don't know. I, of course, don't know those types of things. But yeah, I agreed.
Regarding frames, though, my experience was that this was between 45 and 60 FPS the majority of the time, and often closer to 60 than 45.
But isn't it capped at 60, right? This game.
I had some frame drops.
Yeah, no, I think I know I definitely had the same thing. I can remember the rendering of the background and stuff like that not coming into play by the point I gotten up to it, right? Like it was still blurry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It has issues. It's only been out for a week or so.
It has issues, but I mean, people are should games still have issues upon release though? Have we just gotten used to games having issues and them just fixing it?
We can't go down that rabbit hole because you're right. We should have products that are fixed and working, and you should own them as well and get to keep them.
Right.
But yeah, it's a deep rabbit hole to go down, that one.
My last performance point is just that in a game where this is where you almost have to plan your trip 10 spots ahead, like we said earlier, it's quite important to have a large render distance so you can see just way ahead of you. If I'm scouting, if I'm running towards an encampment and I can already scout out the enemies in front of me.
Yeah, you can plan, right?
Yes, you can plan while you're running there.
Exactly.
The render distance needs to play along. And I'm just very glad that Nightrein's render distance does play along.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you could. Granted, it was always funny when my teammates would go up and I'd get that the health bar at the bottom, and it would be like, I don't know the names, Redmare Knights or something like that.
The Redmare Knights, yeah.
And I was running around, what the hell do they look like? So I started shooting things and the bar's not going down. And I'm like, what the hell? Are they red?
Where the Redmare Knights? Come on!
I was like, who are these people? Show me where they are, because I'm not killing them. I was just killing farmers or sheep. I don't know what was on the screen. I was thinking I was helping, but I don't think I was in the end. But yeah, like you said, the draw distance would have helped me. But from my perspective, knowing who the hell these things are would have helped me. But that's a me issue.
There's one thing we missed, and I don't know if it's a gameplay issue or performance issue.
Go on.
The janky jumping.
the jumping, it's the answer to something that would have been a big problem, right? How do they scale the walls, and how do they...
Yes.
And it almost feels like they're like, oh crap, we forgot to jump. We forgot to put a jump in.
Oh shit. Vertical movement. How do we do vertical movement?
There's no what was the name of your horse? I can't remember.
Torrent.
There's no torrent to do his magical double jump and stuff like that. So it's like, let's let them jump everything. Everything is jumpable, pretty much.
Let them Jackie Chan up on a wall.
That's right. Doesn't matter about gravity. I'll give you, I like there's no fall damage, because that is the biggest Elden Ring boss of all. We all know that. Gravity just kicks your ass all the time. But yeah, the janky jump, and that one part where we were up against those golems throwing the big, like, grenades at us.
Oh,
it got near impossible to climb that at one point.
It really did. We just had to run away.
Yeah, that was just frustration of the game. So
anyway,
I just bring that up.
Anyway,
okay, value for money. What did you think?
I think that $40 is the perfect amount for this.
Yeah, how much was Helldivers? That was about $40.
Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, $40. Same.
Again, that's actually not bad. Like,
it isn't. That's what I'm saying. I think this is the sweet spot $40 for a game like this, for a game like Helldivers. This, I think, is the sweet spot.
Because, like you said,
$40.
if they're not shoving microtransactions down your face, they got to make money somewhere, right? They're not doing this for free. This isn't just a free enterprise.
No. I mean, this game has skins.
Exactly.
Elden Ring Nightreign has skins. And most other games, even Helldivers 2, charge you money for those skins. They don't. They charge you in-game currency for those skins.
Again, like once you finish a run, you get relatively small amount of... I don't even know what it was called. Echoes or... I can't remember what that was. You get a small amount of in-game income, which you can save up to buy these skins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be right. Could have been... Did you say musks?
I think yes.
I think it could be that. Which is nice. Like I said, it's a nice little addition to... You can collect things up and then you can get a nice, badass looking suit or something for your character.
Here it comes again. They're using skins from not only Elden Ring, but Dark Souls.
Oh, really?
You could be Solaire of Astora. You could be Havel the Knight. You could even be Lady Maria. It's so... This is the conversation about reused assets again. So, because, yes, technically, those skins are reused assets.
Yeah. But they there's nostalgia to them, right?
Exactly. You get it.
Havel's the big chunky armor, right? The big...
Yes, Havel the Knight was...
Dude.
No, that's
what's the big plump onion guy?
That's Sigmar or Sigurd of Katarina.
You can get his suit too because he was so nice. I liked him.
You could be the Onion Knight. all of these are reused assets. So if anyone's furious about reused assets, shut up.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of people get very excited just to be able to dress up like the character you played in Dark Souls 1 or 2.
Yeah, even I'm getting excited right now dissing these people. I'm sorry.
Well, it's known as passion. You have passion for gaming and games. So, yeah, $40 across the board. It's not bad. If you think you've got access to this and then all the things that kind of come out later, be it new boss fights, I think that's true, right? This does cover you for updates. Like
no.
Ooh,
I don't. I know there is DLC coming later. Q3,
is that free
Q4.
or not?
No, it's not free. In the deluxe edition, it's included.
Okay.
But no, I think it's going to be paid DLC.
So this is how they make money, right? I don't mind that as long as it's transparent and stuff like that.
Right?
You get this
as long
version.
as it's good. I would have loved if it was free DLC or included in the base package, but like Helldivers 2 is doing.
That's true.
But Helldivers 2 has microtransactions.
It does. But they're not, again, that's kind of like the nice middle area. They're not forced upon you. You can grind to hell. Like, it's a lot of grinding, but you can get to it.
And it's quite cheap too.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, let's face it, there are 3.5 million people who love Dark Souls who are playing this right now. If you're into any FromSoftware type of games, this is just feeding you more of the stuff you like.
Yes.
So for $40, who's not going to do that, right?
Kind of a bit fan servicey.
Yes, no, it is. Of course it is. Yeah, exactly what it is, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that game mechanic, right? Give them what they like.
Exactly. This being a roguelike or even a roguelite, it's got a ton of replay value. A huge amount of replay value. And I think that replay value is multiplied if you've got two other mates who could actually play this with you.
Agreed. I know that's right. It's funny how that does amplify everything. If you've got a squad and you're just knocking out a run or two before work or whatever other things you do.
Yeah.
There is just so much fun in that. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Even if you don't do it or complete or beat the Nightlord and stuff like that. I know it's very cliched and childlike. As long as you make friends and have fun, then it's all worth it. It's true.
With your friends, literally painting a room can be fun.
Exactly. Yeah. We're both in our 30s and it's still true to this day. Doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. Just doing things with mates or even gamers you met online, it just makes things so much better. And this is one of those games where how are you not going to feel amazing when you take down Gladius?
It's better with friends.
Three-headed dog, and it just has that level of epicness in regards to the game itself.
Right.
Okay, so what did we score this bad boy, this Nightlord, this encroaching danger?
Elden Ring Nightreign. Our scores are now stuck in this tiny little island called Round Table Hold. They all look very cool, especially the one dressed as Recluse.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of liked the what was the God? What's
your favorite
lady? It's weird, the
Revenant.
What's her name now? Duchess.
Oh, the Duchess.
The only reason I like that because there was a character design like that in Soul Calibur. I'm sure she's still in it. Who used to have a rapier and kind of like the Duchess type look. I fancied her as a child, and so that childhood memory is crossed over to the Duchess in game. So
wow.
she was definitely my favorite one.
Oh, no way. Okay, Duchess is kind of my favorite too.
Ah, see. Well, it's like we never meet her in the same room one day.
Our scores went to Limveld, approached the Nightlords, and narrowly escaped. They didn't win. The Nightlords kicked their asses. The only score that made it back to the Round Table Hold is the letter grade rating of B-, which is a good score, which is fine, which with all of the issues that this game definitely has, unfortunately, B- is still a great score to be proud of.
And again, from the perspective that Nick's a big Elden Ring and Dark Souls fan, me, not so much. It's still scored a B-. Like, it could have gone so much lower because of my views on it in regards to gamers itself. But a B- is great. And again, they're patching out so much of it that more than likely will slip up. Exactly, yeah. Go to an A and things like that in the future. It really is.
No, I think that FromSoftware made a great game here. It's a spin-off. It's an experiment, right?
Yeah, it is.
Not Miyazaki at the helm.
No.
But, I mean, whoa, even if your spin-off experiment game can be this good...
Yeah.
That says something about your studio. This is some S-tier studio stuff.
It's like, it's one of those few and far between studios nowadays that when you hear one of a FromSoft coming out, or who did Expedition 33? I forget the name of the company now.
Sandfall Interactive.
Sandfall, when they released the next one, when who did Baldur's Gate 3?
Larian Studios.
Thank you. See, you're already there ahead of me. When they bring out a game or even mention a new game, everybody in the community just goes, "Whoa, okay."
Oh yeah.
Ready.
Oh yeah. Much like how people reacted to CD Projekt Red after Witcher 3.
Yes, agreed. And it just dawned on me that the Remedy one, also kind of doing a dip into the online multiplayer type thing, right?
Right, FBC Firebreak.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, which we may or may not review.
But with a pedigree like Remedy behind it, who've mainly had bangers. They've had a bit of hit and miss in their history of games, but no one's perfect. Again, It's another one that we get to go, ooh, okay.
Yeah,
cool studio. Maybe a decent one coming out on the online space. And
absolutely.
Nightreign is just another one of those. FromSoftware just doesn't seem to be able to make mistakes, or they just keep knocking them out the park. Sorry, they just really do.
Yes. I agree with that. They keep making good games. They've made great games. They've made near perfect games.
Yeah.
This isn't one of them, but it's a good game.
Yeah, by all means, go pick it up. $40 isn't too bad.
Absolutely.
It might go on sale at some point one day, but it's definitely worth a try.
Yeah.
Go get your mates. Go kill some Nightlords. Go find that final boss battle is insane. Just so good to see it. You really should. It's so good. So yeah, definitely go give it a try.
After you've done that though, or before you do that though, subscribe to the Critical OK podcast on YouTube or whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on. Leave us a review, 5 stars, whatever. Do it.
We'd also like to thank our sponsor for today, right?
Oh, no.
Just so we don't forget.
Yes, our sponsor. Thank you, Bandai Namco, for
yeah, that's right. Miyazaki himself, of course, listens to the podcast.
He came to my door, he knocked on the door, he gave me a copy of Elden Ring Nightreign, said something in Japanese and left.
which is again very Dark Souls in its own right. Just like, what happened? Did he curse me? Is this a good thing? Yeah, it was a wondrous occasion.
After you've done all that though, how about Dave? You tell us, where can we follow you?
Well, I am out and about, but being stuck in this world, I managed to speak to the the Nightlords, sorry, and managed to get a few of those stone sword keys. Is that what they're called?
Stone something.
What are those things with their jails, right? Are they called stone?
Yeah. Those stone keys.
I've got like 30 of those now, and 30 of those cells that just keep you in jail forever, right? Is that the fundamental point?
Are you telling me you're gonna lock people in jails?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. And I'm not going to leave the swords, the keys, just laying around. I'm just going to destroy them. Why would I leave them? Why would you leave them?
That's actually illegal.
Why do you want? I don't get why they're around. You've jailed someone. Why do you need to free, especially the people who were in the jails in Elden Ring? Why would you need to free them one day? They seemed all horrible.
Who knows the mysteries of Limveld?
By all means, follow me, unless you want to spend an eternity in some sort of dimensional prison.
They don't. They don't. What they do want is to know what is going to be next week's game.
Next week's game is, again, one of our favourite things. It's an Indie 500 game.
Hell yeah.
And again, it has me slightly worried because not very good at maths, and this game is called Indivisible. I'm so hoping it's not some sort of maths-orientated game and just some sort of puzzle game, maybe. Because I'm not sure how that's going to sit well with me if I just can't do maths in a game.
I think it's definitely not maths. I think this is one of those hand-drawn platforming fighter games.
Oh, that's fine. I like those. I just flashbacks of my maths class when I was a kid. This was going to sound off. But no, okay. I look forward to it. Indie games always hit different. We love going into them, and I look forward to next week's one.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a good time.
Yeah. Join us next week to hear about that good time, and we'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.